and what it was like. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
what just came to mind.
As Kamade says in chat, he remembers paying $12 to get demo discs and magazines.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I
I
remember that
have
too.
a lot of those discs sitting around still.
Those are actually pretty helpful in deciding what to buy.
Yeah, they were.
Very much so.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of options that we can look at, and we're going to entertain everything. And that's another great thing about what's changed in the industry is you've got digital distribution, where before it was harder to do that because to give something away for free would cost you money because of the physical manufacturing.
Yep.
But this is all going away now. So it makes it easier, and I'll say this. We're going to try to get it out there. As entertainers, we want our message out there, but we can't live out of cereal boxes, so we got to be able to buy food to eat to create more.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
How about that early access stuff on Steam? Is that something that might be entertaining?
Yes. Don't see why not. And that's sort of like the beta stuff. We went up on Greenlight. Some people in our community were saying, "Get up on Greenlight." And I knew we were doing this podcast today, so we put it up last night just for this, so people could check it out, because we knew this is a Steam community, and we plan on fully supporting Steam, like 100% all the way. I love Steam. It's like one of my favorite. It probably is my favorite platform right now, quite frankly.
Same here, actually.
Same.
Steam is my go-to thing for games.
Yeah.
So that was a real plus when I had heard you guys planned on trying to go Steam route.
Definitely.
How about Eternal Darkness? Do you think that'll ever get a PC port in the future? Because, I mean, there's a lot of people who might actually purchase it on Steam.
There are a lot of people who really want to play this
Yeah.
game, but just aren't able to because they don't have a GameCube or they didn't know about it before when it came out. And now they want to actually see it now that they've seen Shadow of the Eternals being advertised. I've seen a lot of people saying stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a question for Nintendo, and I think I think anything's possible, but rather than put it in the context that you did, if Nintendo ever went to a cloud, I would see no reason why they wouldn't offer all of their titles on the cloud. So you wouldn't necessarily be playing it on Steam, but you could be playing it on your PC because it's running through cloud technology, and it wouldn't matter.
Well, they're going to have GameCube titles eventually on the Wii U, where you can like pick them up off the eShop and whatnot. You think it'd be possible for us to get together some of the people from the community and maybe do like a little Operation Rainfall thing, but with Eternal Darkness? If you guys remember Operation Rainfall that happened with a few titles that were overseas that they wanted brought over to, or just things in general they wanted put on the Wii.
Well,
do you think that would be asking too much, or that would be an okay thing to do, or?
Well, so I don't know what you're referring to, so I don't have any context, but I would say this. Any chance that we have to get together, I would love to do it. So if it's possible, let's talk about it and get it all lined up.
So
Operation Rainfall was a there was Xenoblade, The Last Story, and Pandora's Tower, which were initially games that weren't brought over to that weren't going to be brought over to the U.S., but they had like a group of people that got together, showed a mass amount of support for the game and the companies and whatnot, and tried to get Nintendo to bring it over. And Nintendo was very supportive towards Operation Rainfall. That's why I was wondering if that's what I meant by that.
Oh yeah, I think Nintendo's got a pretty solid plan of where they want to take that stuff. So, but I think I would certainly be behind seeing Eternal Darkness get played by as many people as possible. So,
me too, definitely.
So SFK is pushing me to ask some more questions because she has a whole bunch.
JC, mind if I ask one that was kind of mentioned in chat first, and then we can hop to all of hers. Red wants to know if you get on Steam, are you going to be doing TF2 item rewards for pre-orders and that stuff? As lots of people will buy games more if there's some type of TF2 item involved.
That's actually true.
I don't see why not. I guess we'd have to get together
With Steam, of course.
with Valve, and so that's kind of like a cross-licensing thing, and but I don't see why I would see no reason why we wouldn't entertain that, and it's really I'm assuming that they're interested. I wouldn't hesitate on something like that, but that's more up to Paul and Sean. So,
Okay.
but we certainly wouldn't turn away from it. I don't think anyway.
Cool. Good to hear. because
Okay,
I know
SFK
that may
question.
increase sales nicely.
What's the longest time you or a coworker has gone without sleeping or even without eating as a result of working toward deadline?
My longest time is 3 days, and I started to hallucinate and physically hallucinate, and it's sleep deprivation is not a good thing, and it was a really scary experience. I was not in
Did you
good shape. Not quite. I almost did, but it took me a week to recover actually. So I didn't sleep for 3 days, and I did not feel well for a week. So I'd never recommend doing that.
I can totally understand that. Where you're coming from on that.
So, have you guys already asked ManFob22's question?
Which one?
How? Okay, let me actually structure this better. All right. Oh, hold on. Not Steam, but G Plus is asking me if I'm here. I don't want to vanish. The question was, and I'm gonna die because I was trying to read it. Yep, there we go. How will the patching work for episode updates with the Wii U and Steam? I think Steam would be pretty easy, but with Wii U, I'd be wondering about that.
So I have to look at all the technical specs to verify, but I would not see a reason why anything wouldn't just be automated, where as long as you were plugged in, it would just happen.
Okay.
And Steam is like that already, of course, but
yes.
We'd have to. That's a very technical question, but I see no reason why that wouldn't be ubiquitous across every platform we support.
All right.
Here's another SFK question. How many ideas have you had to abandon or drastically change because someone or some other game beat you to the punch?
I don't think any, and the only reason I say that, I'm certainly people have beat us to the punch on things, but when you're creating a game, you can't really worry about what other people are doing. You certainly pay attention, but you can't. There's been so many times when someone announces a game, and you're like, "Wow, that sounds exactly like our game," and then you see it, and they're completely the opposite. So you just can't really you shouldn't, in my opinion, make decisions like that and pull something because someone else has done it. It's certainly beating to the punch that happens, but I guess the second part would be, it just doesn't happen very much because you want to focus on what you're doing, and the chances of you doing something exactly the same are fairly low.
Right. How do you think that happens, though? Is it like through watching other demos or something, and it gets leaked that way?
Oh, a lot of people, when they design stuff, look at what other people are doing and say, that's what we have to do to be successful, so they do the same thing. That happens a lot. And it's not even...
industry-wide, too.
Yeah, it's more in fear. It's more in fear of not being successful. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to put millions and millions of dollars into, say, an MMO, and the most popular MMO is World of Warcraft, you certainly... better follow some of the things you're doing, because if you do something that's totally new and it's not successful, people are going to look at you and go, I'm just telling you from a business perspective, you just spent all this money and it totally failed. Why didn't you do it like World of Warcraft? So it's tough. It's tough out there. So that's why a lot of that stuff happens. And I'm happy to say that if you look at a lot of our titles, we do things that are very different, but sometimes you try something different and people don't like it, and you pay the price and it hurts. So
right, but you just talked about, you just referenced MMOs again, and earlier when you were talking about that, one thing that popped up into my head because of what I also touched on earlier about the pressure that games devs have from a purely financial point of view, whereby it becomes really a product and not a work. Really, is that with MMOs, what you see happening is that they start really trying to well, for lack of better words, nickel and dime people. They find ways to include gambling, psychology, and stuff like that into the game design, so they get people hooked on a product rather than enjoying playing get very grindy, the game mechanics get repetitive, and as it goes on, it just gets worse and worse. And it's really good, again, to hear that there are at least some people that see things like that happening and that understand what it means. And one thing that I always say, and I want to reflect this on you two guys and see what you guys think about it, and this is something I'm always adamant about, is that I'm someone that financially isn't very, very well off at the moment, so I don't have a lot to spend on games, so I have to be very selective in what I buy. But even when I was more financially well off before, I would still be really selective in what I bought, because what I always say to people is that your dollar, your euro, whatever it is your vote. When you buy a product from a company, you're supporting them and giving them the signal that what they're doing is right. You agree with it, and it's totally cool. And even if you really enjoy maybe a certain video game, sometimes you might need to look at what they're doing with it and where it's heading. And on that note, I also want to say that, you know, with good companies that are looking at more positive paradigms that they want to set, lower that barrier between the devs and the consumer. I always implore people, please, you know, if you do spend money, spend your money on that. You know, because that is your vote. That gives a signal back to the industry and to the companies directly saying, yeah, that's what we want. Please continue doing that.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. And I also would take it even a step further, where when someone's spending time with what you've created, that's time is really important too.
True. Yes.
And so it really is something that you have to respect as a creator. And in some sense, that's what I like about crowdfunding. At the end of the day, we're throwing it out there and we're saying to people, we want to make this game, do you support us? And they're going to tell us. They're going to say yes or no, and hopefully we'll be able to get the word out there so everyone knows about it. But at the end of the day, if they don't want it, well, we can't make it happen then, you know. So we're certainly going to try everything we can, but you know, that's what I like about crowdsourcing. So I completely agree with that.
Right.
And not everyone's gonna like the way we're doing it. I mean,
nope.
But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty good. So.
I think so. I think it's going to be something we can stand behind, and something that people who participate in the order are saying that was worthwhile, that was worth participating in, and you know, something. What I hope people see right now is that they take a look for themselves, just ignore all the static that's out there, and say, well, something really different is happening here, and maybe I should look at that and try it out. Because great thing about the order is it only takes $5 to join at even a bare minimum level. And we've had, if you see people on our forums with multiple ribbons, that means they've upgraded. And you know, just take a look around. There's people with a lot of ribbons right now, so their confidence is growing as the project continues, and it's only been a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm hoping some of these lurkers that we have that are very active, that are currently in our chat, would throw $5 down so he can join the order to see what it's all about. Gross.
It's quite nice, actually. I've been in it since week 1?
I
I've
keep
only seen a little, and that was because of the one glitch there was, but I can't wait till I get my next paycheck to fund it and get in it.
I keep picking on Grows because I feel like Grows is a person that's really on the fence, that I feel like he would really enjoy it if he could get involved in it, and I guess I feel connected to him in some way.
Yep. Hey guys, I do have to get going soon. I don't want to leave. If I could stay here, I would.
That's understandable, and thanks
That's
for joining
perfectly
us.
understandable.
We appreciate you
I
coming
actually
and talking to
wanted
us.
to ask if at any other point in time, if you feel like it, if you're not busy, you're more than welcome to come back and just chat with us, saying we can play games together too if you guys want.
I would love to, and we could do it again whenever you think a good time is. I'm totally up for it. I had a great time, and I would love to do this again personally.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I actually wanted to do one thing before you left.
Sure.
GP, can you get a random.org up for me if you don't mind?
I thought you were going to do it on your stream so they can see it.
Oh yeah, that probably would be best. Okay, can you take the names down of the people? I talked to Faja a few minutes ago about this. When I first contacted you, Dennis,